Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the casting panel here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. It's myself, ODPixel. I'm joined by Andy Draskell. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm ready to cast some Dota.
Indeed.
It's about that time.
It is indeed. It's been quite a while since we did, over a week now. But we're here, and what a game to come back to. VP Polar versus Ninjas in Pyjamas. In Pyjamas, not in a Pyjamas.
It's like the most MVP.
Yes, the most.
You did say it again.
You did. You said most MVP player, which
which is like most valuable player. That's essentially what you're saying. But it's okay. We love Shaver anyway. It's fine.
We do.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're into the draft here. Ninjas in Pyjamas. They had second pick, and they picked the Shadow Demon Leshrac, a combo that, I mean, Leshrac did get some changes, but I think the Lightning Slow was probably the most prevalent of them. And the first thing that I see when I see Shadow Demon Lesh is always the roaming combo. Is like, you get a disruption off into a stun, it can be very potent for a kill. But VP going with the standard Queen first pick, it's all around great hero. I think when you go into a game and you're like, I haven't decided what I want to do yet, you just first pick Queen. Like, that's just what you do.
Yeah. Especially if you've got someone like G, who we do know is very good on the Queen of Pain. Kind of like a lot of teams, mids. I mean, it's a hero that if you're a professional team, you're going to want someone who's good on the quap, and everyone's very much used to that hero, who is very much a flavour of this current meta. And the first two picks, as you were saying, Shadow Demon Leshrac. Now, does that scream to you roaming combo, or does it say there is the possibility of that being a core Lesh?
It doesn't have to be a roaming combo, but whenever I see those heroes picked in conjunction, typically if you were just going to pick up a Shadow Demon or just going to pick up a Lesh, I feel like those are two heroes that you could have maybe saved for a later point into the draft to actually pick. But the strength that it gives is that the Lesh can be either or. It can be a core or it can be a support. So you know that a Shadow Demon is going to be a position 4 or 5, but you're not 100% on the Leshrac. So in that sense, it kind of makes VP Polar wonder how the lanes are going to shape up. And it's the same reason why you would first pick a Queen. It gives you that ambiguity of, I don't know what they're going to do 100% yet, but we can try to plan around it. And apparently everyone on the side of NIP has lost their arms because they just stand there with nubs. I mean, to me, clearly you can see that his hands are behind his back. I don't even know why they had that conversation in the first place, because it was like so obvious that he was just standing there. Like,
they're just not as analytical as you, Andy. That's why we have you here, to give us the analysis on the Dota. And well, what can we say about this? VP Polar, they pick up Viper as their third hero. And Nip, they pick up the IO, so it is looking more towards the Leshrac being a core hero, unless, it's got to be really. There's no other way around it. And
yeah, I think it has to be. I mean, the other option is they could try to do a 2-1-2, but VP Polar already have a Viper and a Queen, and both of those heroes are lane-dominating heroes. So yeah, I think it might actually just be a 2-1-2 here from Ninjas in Pyjamas. You probably see the Wisp and the Bristleback together, and then you could see the Leshrac and the Shadow Demon in safe lane, and then maybe they could last pick a mid. But VP, again, they have two very strong laners. So they have a Rubik AA, potentially Viper tri-lane, if they want to put it. Yeah, that's an insanely good tri-lane, if they put it together that way. And it pretty much means that if the Bristleback Wisp wanted to go aggressive, it's now going to get smashed. Like, it would not be able to fight against this lane. There's not a chance. They would have to send a third hero, which means it would probably be Shadow Demon, Wisp, and then Bristleback. Still not, like, it's okay, but it's not great, because you wouldn't put a Shadow Demon in the solo lane, and you would have to have the Leshrac farm. Like, that would essentially be what NIP have to fall back to now. So I think that VP might have a tiny bit better of a laning phase right now. Still got to wait on their last pick, though, because I'm thinking right now for VP, it's probably going to be G Queen, and then Illidan obviously on the Viper.
Yes.
But we haven't seen Full Boss Hero yet. Like, what is he going to get here?
No, and obviously Nip, a bit of a respect in the sense that they ban out the Phobos Bounty Hunter. And I mean, you're talking yourself, Bounty can be pretty strong at the moment, if used correctly.
He can be ridiculously strong, and so can Tidehunter. I mean, VP already have really good lanes, so they ban out Drow on VP Polar's side because they see the first two picks as Shadow Demon Lesh, and they just say, well, they're ranged heroes. We don't want to give them the chance to get that Drow aura going and help them win the laning phase a little bit harder, so we'll just ban it. And that, to me, just meant that VP Polar are pretty much putting a lot of emphasis on making sure they can win their lanes. And against the lineup that NIP has right now, I think it would be quite easy if they just put like a tri-lane together with the AA, the Viper, the Rubik, have a Queen. You can even last pick something like Puck if you just want another hero who does okay in a 1v1. Like, they're going to have to put it up against, I guess, a Lesh. And if NIP decide to go 2-1-2, they're still going to lose the off lane pretty harshly. And if they decide to go for a defensive lane instead, then the Ancient Apparition and the Rubik can roam. And we don't know what the mid is going to be from NIP yet. I mean, Shadow Fiend seems like one of those heroes that Arrow would love to get his hands on, but I don't think it's that easy to run in this spot.
And I mean, obviously, Bristleback still being picked up was changed in the recent 6.84C. His base attack time has been increased, which I believe someone was saying about was a bit strange because his win rate hasn't been that great in competitive. I mean, why do you think there was that change?
I don't know. I think the hero, his win rate isn't indicative of how good he actually is. I think he's just one of those heroes that I thought he would be very prevalent in this type of patch where it was kind of deathbally.
Yeah.
Because he's amazing at just going in and making sure that you can just steamroll the first towers if you get even a little bit of a start. But if he flops in the laning phase, he has a very hard time coming back. And maybe that's why we have seen a little bit less of it. And the last pick here from VP Polar is actually going to be a Weaver. Now, NIP, they have almost zero way of killing this Weaver. And if VP are already going to have a strong laning phase, I have to say I do favor VP's draft here a little bit. I'd say probably like 60-40.
And I like the fact that it's Illidan on the Weaver. So your tri-lane's going to be Weaver, AA, Rubik. And that is, with Chilling Touch and the old German, that's...
So that means full
It's going to be
Queen,
fun
right?
for Nip. Yeah, I think it's...
Queen, Illidan, or no, Illidan's playing Weaver and then G Viper. Yeah.
It's got G picking up the Quap at the moment, so I guess they're going to do solo safe lane Viper, mid lane G on the Quap, and then your aggressive tri-lane coming out from VP by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's farming less here too from NIP, so we kind of guessed that a little bit earlier on. I think their lane it has to be aggro, right?
It's gonna, what, for the side of VP or?
No, I think for Nip they have to go aggro.
Yeah, I think if they put the Shadow Demon Leshrac,
or they dual lane, and then they just. It
is limp on the Bristleback, and with the ISO, maybe it's gonna be the Bristleback IO mid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or they put Bristleback Wisp off lane.
Top.
Yeah. The offlane is just easier because when you're running Bristleback and Wisp, you want the longer distance to chase heroes.
Okay.
Like in middle lane, the problem is you don't really have that much room to be able to chase down and spam quills, but there's a lot of room to juke around the tower. You can chase people into corners. Like there's a lot of wiggle room in top lane for either side, really. So I think that putting him in the offlane is definitely the play here, but they still have the Lesh kind of chilling, so I'm not sure exactly what's going to be going on for the lanes for NIP. I still got to say, though, I really like VP's draft.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a quick rundown of both of the team's drafts as we get ourselves into the game. NIP versus Virtus.Pro. It's the first game of the two-game series here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. On the side of Virtus.Pro on the dial, we're going to have Illidan on his position 1 Weaver. He's going to be supported up by FNG on the AA. It will be DK Phobos on what we expect to be the safe lane Viper, G on his mid lane Quap, and finally Lil on the Rubik in the tri-lane. And well, I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Draskell. Draskell, what are we seeing from NIP?
All right, well, Wisp is going to be handled by Hanskin here. Right next to him is going to be Limp playing on his Bristleback. Era is going to be handling the Leshrac. Seal Kid is going to be playing on Shadow Demon. And finally, that leaves Jonas is going to be playing the Nature's Prophet. Or Jonas, I guess.
Jonas Somfan.
Yeah.
Apparently is the correct pronunciation. So lane-wise, from the side of NIP, I kind of like, so at the moment the Nature's Prophet may be looking to go straight into the jungle, so they're dodging the aggression entirely.
It's dual lanes. Like, they had to do dual lanes with these heroes. The problem that they were going to run into is if they put a tri-lane together, the tri-lane still loses against VP's tri-lane, no matter what. And in a 1v1, Weaver versus Nature's Prophet, if that ended up being the matchup in bottom lane, then the Weaver still does okay. Nature's Prophet probably still farms a bit. We can see G taking some harass here in top lane. But the one good thing is that Limp is probably going to farm. And then middle lane, Era is also going to farm. So this is the best, I think, of a situation that could have been a lot worse for them. See a disrupt here.
Into the stun as well, with the right clicks coming out. There'll be a TP towards the mid lane from the AA, and it looks like the side of VP may be thinking about turning this dual lane into a tri-lane potentially in the mid lane.
Did he just TP to walk straight back to his lane? Oh no, he left bottom, never mind. Yeah, he left bottom, okay.
Okay, so that's going to leave Weaver up against Jonathan Fan, and obviously Jonathan Fan realizes the TP to mid's been had, so he says, I can go into the lane for a bit. Illidan says, well, good luck with that, I'm going to give you a bit of a punch, and he is level 2 here. We'll be able to Shikuchi again, maybe? No, he doesn't want to. Oh, he could have brought it close to bringing him down there, but even so, this is not a nice lane for the Nature's Prophet against this Weaver.
It's kind of a 50-50. He's almost out of regen, though, which is kind of annoying, because now Illidan can just chase him. He might even drop here.
Yeah, I think he's got a very good chance of getting a killer. Jonas and Fan, he's trying to juke it out in the tree line. There will be a Shikuchi in a few seconds, trying to block the Weaver in. And
2 seconds, though. He needs to run.
He gives him a bit of a cheeky slap, but I think that might be the last slap he gives for a few seconds, as Jonas and Fan will go down. And it was a nice bit of fancy footwork there from the Nature's Prophet.
He should have just ran when he blocked him.
It was.
I don't know why he turned around and said, ah, yes, I will hit him. And then his Shikuchi will come up and then I will die. So he didn't have his teleport off cooldown, which was a little bit unfortunate. And that solo kill just means that the Weaver has kind of secured his lane. Because Illidan's already up to 850 gold. He can buy even a bottle, I think, and just crush the lane super hard. Or he can go for a quick ring of health. He can go treads. There's a ton of options that you can do when you have this kind of position. Since they don't have a Wisp on their team, they don't need to really have somebody always taking bottom rune, which is very typical when you see a Wisp lineup, is they control one rune and then the mid gets the other. But in this case, if he wanted to go for that, he could just very aggressively play the lane out.
We see in the mid lane at the moment, the Lesh versus the Viper are having a favorable time. 10 last hits, 9 denies at the moment compared to the 6 for 3 on Phobos. So the mid lane very much going NIP's way.
Well, the supports did kind of leave him. They just decided it's Viper. It's going to be very hard for this dual lane to kill him, even with a stun, because you have to stay very close for Edict to deal damage if he even had it, as Era is going the lightning build. So he's just going for more of the CS, and it's 8-3 compared to 10-9, but honestly...
Oh, Jonas some fan. He's in a bit of trouble, bit of spot of bother as Lil comes in with the rotation.
Wait, what?
Oh, what? No. Oh, Nature's Prophet.
All right.
Not one with the trees, apparently. That was... Andy, explain it.
I want to see, he couldn't have even clicked on the minimap, because if he did, he would have clicked the top left and then he just would have walked forward and not sprouted. So I don't know. I honestly have no idea how he did that. That just had to have been a misclick. Maybe if there was something stuck in his mouse?
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
For the benefit of his doubt, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Something stuck in the mouse. But still 2 for 0 and giving those kills to the lane with the Weaver in. Illidan's going to be pretty damn happy with that.
The problem with the Weaver that NIP are going to have is who kills him? Like, the Shadow Demon can disrupt if you get an opening into a stun, but that is it. That is your all-in initiation. And if you don't kill him within that stun, he's just going to time-lapse and be fine. And you're giving him a very good start. So whatever difficulty you would have had taking Illidan down in the first place is going to be amplified by the fact that he's already 2-0.
I mean, as you said, literally the only way they can control him is the disruption into the Lesh stun, which in itself is not the easiest thing to hit and coordinate every time. So it's such a nice lane for Weaver. And a nice game and total. So going in onto G. I'm not going to follow it down. He will be able to salve himself back up. G at the moment in his lane, 15 CS, doing fairly well. But as you said, Bristleback getting the farm. There's not a lot really that the co-op can do to stop him, especially when he's being backed up by the IO. Yeah,
but you say that, and look at his farm. He's 15-4. The Bristleback only has 4 more CS than G. It's not as if this lane is really crushing the Queen by any extent, and there's no way that this lane can all-in kill, which is kind of the benefit of having 2 very, very strong solo laners in the Viper and the Queen together, is VP have 2 solo lanes that can actually 2v1 because of their respective positions. If the Bristleback and the Wisp were mid, they might be able to die Phobos, but that's not the case. So as long as Hanskin and Limp are top, the Queen can always blink away from any aggression, and G, being one of, in my opinion, the best Queen of Pain players pretty much in the world, I'm pretty sure he's going to be more than okay, even though the Bristleback is starting to pull ahead. They're not zoning G completely. He's still level 5 at 5 minutes.
I know, I can't help but feeling it's not the nice. We're saying how it's going to be a good game for the Weaver. On the other hand, for NIP, it's not really a nice game for a Nature's Prophet, is it?
No. I mean, he can always go back to the jungle, which is essentially what he's gone to do now. But you're not going to farm nearly as fast in the jungle as a Weaver will in the woods. And not only that, but you give up your safe lane tier 1 at 5 minutes into the game. That is not ideal, not even a little. And the other problem, too, is where are they going to go? Oh, gee, he's wasted all his mana. He has wand charges, though. Okay, scared me. I panicked.
Having a bit of a tinkle there with the Iron. Jonas, the fan. He's died twice. I think this might be a third one. Lil, he's just getting in range. Has he got the telekinesis, Lil? Surely he has.
He's just saving it for the teleport.
Okay.
Because, see, the thing is, if everyone is out of range when you lift, there's an option for him to teleport as soon as the telekinesis is over, and there's no other interrupt. So he needs to wait to lift until either he already has started channeling, or there's enough damage to kill him in the disable, which obviously the latter was the case here.
This is not a great start for the side of NIP, but of course they've got the IO, they've got the Bristleback, you know, 2 heroes that will become very active once the relocate comes online. And against heroes like the AA, there are squishy heroes on VP that they can kill. It's just the fact that it's going to be so hard to kill that Weaver. And G will just simply TP away from the aggression coming out from the Bristol Island. Mid lane, Seal Kid, he went for a bit of aggression, but Cold Feet's going to kick in, and that's going to be a Shadow Demon dying here in the mid lane. It's looked like he just stepped a little bit too far onto enemy territory there.
Oh, counter kill though from Era here. Should be pretty easy. Gets the kill on him. Has the S4 rune, patented haste, no big deal. But we are kind of talking out the lineup of VP quite a lot. And, oh no, not again. Not again.
Not again.
He has the vision from the Scarabs. Wow, okay. I mean, it's pretty obvious that VP are having a good time in the lane phase, but there are 3 members of NIP who are still farming. So all of their cores are still getting decent CS. Like Bristleback is #1 on CS, then Leshrac is 3, and then Nature's Prophet's 4. I mean, so it's not terrible, it's just the liability is the Prophet. He needs to stop dying. If you take away his deaths, it's 1-1, everyone's farming evenly. It seems like a much better game. But the Prophet is just feeding. Like he's just relentlessly dying.
I mean, I kind of feel it at this point. Probably the best thing for him to do is to go into the enemy jungle and start jungling, or where's the safest place? I mean, where can he go?
He just needs to stop showing himself in lane. That's the problem. Like, he goes to lane to try to stop Illidan from free farming, but every time he does, he just ends up getting punished so hard by just dying. I mean, that time he just dies to Illidan alone in top lane.
Indeed, Lil coming in with a rotation. Limp's going to try and go on FNG, but the telekinesis will hold back the Bristle. FNG's fairly low here. They're not going to be able to chase him. Seal Kid will find G here with a disruption. Throws down the soul catch. They'll have the stun from Era as well, and Queen of Pain getting blown up. Now Lil's going to have to retreat with FNG. They're both trying to get themselves out of here, but Illidan's come in, and he's going to look for some counter kills. Looking for Seal Kid. He's going in with the Shikuchi. This Shadow Demon is very much dead. That's another kill for the Weaver. He's going to look for Hansken. He'll find it as well. It's a double kill for Illidan. And, well, when things started to look up for NIP, Illidan just turns up to the lane and finds himself a double kill.
He's almost level 9 at 8 minutes and 30 seconds in. It's completely insane. He buys full drums. He has Aquila Tread's wand on top of that. He is going to be everywhere on this map. So normally when a Wisp hits level 6, you say, this is the point where they're going to start like partnering up with their Tiny. They're going to start going for some kills. It's going to be a lot of action. But relocating a Bristleback into this team doesn't really seem that impressive. We're going to see a stun here.
Lil's found Arrow. Has Arrow found Lil? G is there coming in. Has got the Sonic Wave, and whoa, there it is onto
the neutral. Oh god. MVP Dark Troll Summoner. No problem.
So it ends up being effectively a 1-for-1 there.
Yeah.
With, as you said, the Dark Troll coming out and coming up for the side of NIP, denying that Bristleback.
That was pretty lucky, because if G had gotten credit for both of those kills, he would have been like level 8 or something like that. Would have been really nice for him. And he's still only died once, which is good. And the funny part is he didn't even die to the lane that he was against. He died to a roam. And I think there was like 3 or 4 people top when he actually got taken down. But still, VP off to a great start. They have a 6-kill lead. Their Weaver is... I honestly don't have any idea what NIP are going to do about him. Like, they need to try to like push and fight, but still.
He might die here. I mean, Illidan... He's gonna send him right back. He's got time-lapse, and yeah, he's going to Shikuchi in for this one with the bugs ticking down the armor. I don't know if he can get this kill, but he can certainly bring the Bristleback low. Yeah, it'll just scale him right back out of the lane. But
he gets damage on the tower for this.
Being bullied right back to base by a solo Weaver at 10 minutes in.
I mean, Illidan is pushing his limits here on the hero. Like, a lot of people would think they look at that plane and like, I didn't kill him. But the reality is you get, like, what, half the tower's health and damage just from sending the Bristleback home. And no one else can really rotate unless the Shadow Demon and Era both come together. That is the only way they can kill him. That's the only way they can kill G. There's just too many, like the cores are mobile, and NIP don't have mobility. That's the biggest issue. And they lost their safe lane like so unbelievably bad. If Jonas hadn't died, I'd say this game would have been a lot closer.
Era and Seal Kid, they'll go in here onto Phobos, but there's a wraparound from Illidan straight onto the Shadow Demon with the bugs, with the right clicks. That's your Shadow Demon down. Now he's going to look towards Zeri. He will Shikuchi forward past the tier 1. We do see Limp and trying to go in, but Illidan's already found the double kill as he's found Era. Mid lane, Phobos gets the goo to the backside. They'll try and chase him down. Where's Illidan? We kind of need Illidan to come back in for VP Polar. And
he can actually clean this up,
yeah,
I think.
I really feel he can. He's going to find Jonas and Fan, and Nature's Prophet says, he's triggering the memories. It's all coming back to him now. He'll throw the spray out. This time he will be able to TP himself out. IO, Hansken might not be as lucky. Pops the charges and will be able to keep him alive, but the boats come out. They'll catch both Limp and Hansken. Hansken goes down. Illidan will time-lapse himself out of that one. But even though NIP, they found the kill onto... Did they kill anyone?
They didn't kill anybody.
They didn't kill anyone.
It was just a lot of Illidan killing everyone.
Yes.
He killed Seal Kid, Era, and Hansken. He killed 3 people alone, while the rest of NIP were trying to tower dive DK
They might find Rubik, but Illidan's still here. He says, well, you can take my Rubik, but I'll take you. Rubik will go down. Illidan throws the bugs out. They'll catch onto Limp and Era. He Shikuchi's up to the high ground, trying to turn around to find Seal Kid, but maybe this is a little bit too much for Illidan to bite off. Shikuchi contemplating going back in. There's G. He's turned up the fight with the screen, finds the Shadow Demon. And Hansker now just hiding in the tree line, waiting to tether up to the high ground, will get away. But still, this is VP getting very far ahead. On the net worth of the individual hero, 7,000 on your Weaver compared to the 4K on Error on this Leshrac. 12 minutes in as well. This is a massive difference. And, well, here we go. The top net worth of VP up against the top net worth of NIP. And Illidan wants to go for it. He'll juke out the stun. He did come in through, and that's going to scare him off. Illidan will time that back out, but now he wants to go back in. He wants to finish off Error. And actually, G says, I'll take that one, mate. He goes forward with the blink. Will find the kill. Viper's strike from Phobos onto Seal Kid. Seal Kid's down as well. It's a godlike streak for Illidan. 12.5 minutes into the game. It's turning into a bit of a train wreck, Andy.
I mean, this is a Weaver's wet dream. Look at all these heroes, like Wisp, Leshrac, Shadow Demon, Nature's Prophet. 4 heroes with no mobility, low armor, and they get their ancient stacks stolen. Like, what actually could have gone any worse for NIP during the early game? And the thing is, Illidan doesn't even have to make Lincolns. He can just go straight Deso.
Does he want to? He wants some. He's going to head up to the high ground. He certainly is. Phobos and Lil just turn around. Lil will get stunned up by Error from the low ground. Phobos slowly chipping away at Limp. Where's Illidan? Illidan's actually going to TP himself back to base. Does have the time lapse. Is he going to time lapse back into this one? No, he's not. Actually, that wouldn't make any sense at all because he's back to no health and all that.
God.
VP, they're just getting away with it every time.
But that's the problem with NIP's team is if they can't win the lanes, then you see the inherent problem with their composition. Is it's not a normal Wisp partner in the like we talked about Tiny or even Sven. Any hero with a disable who can just start the fight and say, boom, we're here, we're gonna go for kills. They have none of that type of play. They have to win their lanes. And they got completely destroyed in their lanes. At least safe lane they did. And the other two went okay, but when you're playing against mobile cores and you don't have any way of catching them, how do you expect to win? Like, I honestly think that VP has outdrafted them pretty heavily, but the Weaver pick was like the nail in the coffin. It's just they cannot deal with that hero, period.
I mean, and we're talking about them controlling the Weaver. We've got to remember, there's G on the quad, and if you're not controlling the Weaver, you're not going to be able to control the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're okay. Jonas, he gets scouted out here by Illidan. Oh,
that was not the dream TP. It will try and TP himself out, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Illidan.
How close is he to Deso? I think that's what he's making. He needs one more Mithril Hammer and then 300 gold. So he is very close.
And we're only 14.5 minutes in.
I honestly, like, the tier 1 and the safe lane's the only tower that's died for a nip, but you can see that VP just don't care about towers. They're just going all in for kills. They realize that the farther ahead they get by just experiencing gold, those towers are just like an investment. Later on, they'll come back and they'll clean them up for free because it will reach a stage where NIP are not going to be able to fight at all. And they're just going to have to try to sit in their base or fight that.
Mid lane, we are going to see a disruption onto Phobos. The relocate in as well. Illidan's joined the fight for the side of VP. Phobos getting low. He bombs the charges. He's still alive. Will finally go down. In comes the Ice Blast for the side of VP. Will catch 3 of them. Now with the Sonic Wave and the Scream of Pain, they're all melting. 4, 5 heroes down. Everybody dies on the side of NIP, and GG is called 15 minutes into the game. VP... That was...
It was an outdraft, like for sure.
So 6.84C didn't work.
No. Well,
we're still getting the stomps.
I gotta hand it to FNG though, because he dealt with that draft very well. And I'm really not sure why they decided to go Bristleback after having seen Queen and Viper. Like when you see Bristleback, you want heroes that you can actually run into and goo and chase down and kill, right? But it was 2 heroes that he absolutely had 0 chance of killing. A Weaver, a Queen, and a Viper is still very difficult. Yeah. Because while you may be able to goo him, you're gonna get corrosive. You're gonna get ultimate cast on you as well, the Viper Strike, and you're just gonna be like, I cannot chase anyone. And the only other disable we have on our entire team is a Leshrac stun. And that has to be lined up with a Shadow Demon. Otherwise, it just won't land. Like, poor Era, he was trying to stun Illidan when he was getting tower dove, and you can't. It's like hasted movement speed. It's very hard to land Split Earth with no opening. So I really do think that VP had a draft edge, and very well played, 15-minute game.
Very well played. And I mean, I did like it at the start, you know, the fact that NIP, it did seem like they looked at the lanes that were going to be coming out from at the side of VP, and NIP said, right, we need to readjust, we need to avoid this aggression. But it just didn't work out. The aggression was still there. Weaver got how many kills on Unison Fan at the beginning? I think it was pretty much 3 straight up. 4 straight up at the start.
4 kills, yeah. 1 was a gank when he had the Rubik come down there, Lil. And then the other 3, I think, were just kind of like solo kills. It was ridiculous. I think the one thing that maybe NIP could have done is try to emphasize like TP ganking mid. I think that's what they wanted to do, because you have Leshrac and Shadow Demon mid, you disrupt into a stun, Jonas TP's in, you get a kill off that, you apply a lot of pressure in that area of the map. I think that's what they wanted. But because Jonas had such a terrible game, it's just like, our game plan is now gone. Like, it's non-existent. We can't do anything anymore. Illidan was 12-0 and 5 in a 15-minute game.
I think that pretty much says it all.
Yeah.
That literally just says it all. And I think there was 21 kills. He was involved in 17 of the 21 kills, which you have to think, I mean, do you even think about maybe banning the Weaver?
No.
They just draft better against it.
They just clearly had a glaring weakness in that they had no way of locking down heroes. And the irony of it is they had Queen first pick for VP. And you pick a lineup that can't even kill the Queen. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. Maybe I'm being overly judgmental. I don't know.
Well, first game of the day. Maybe, you know, just a little bit rusty. Maybe just waking up. Maybe had a bit of a bender at the weekend. But, well, we'll see how it goes into, as we are going to be going into Game 2 very shortly. But, of course, that's it for us at Game 1. We're going to send you over to some commercials and then over to our host. But for myself and Andy, we'll see you guys in a bit for Game 2.